It's 1990, and it's a new year. Your parents have taken you to Florida to visit the beautiful Disney World, just as they promised. What do you believe your parents paid for your 4-day visit? It costs $280. Now let's come back to the year 2022. You've chosen to take your child to Disney World so that you can relive your childhood memories as well. But this time, the 4-day ticket for you, your partner, and your child will cost you a little more than $1,200. What exactly happened? This is because of inflation. Inflation means the dearness of things that makes things costlier for all of us every year. Why does inflation occur? And what are the reasons behind this? Is it really a bad thing? And how is inflation related to unemployment and other economic factors? We will talk about all of this in today's video. An essential question: why does inflation happen? And who is causing it to happen? Are some government officials increasing the prices of things arbitrarily? No, that's not the reason. There are several reasons for inflation, but we will discuss 4 main reasons for inflation in this video. 1. Economic boom. The first reason is straightforward: an economic boom. That is, there is strong economic growth. When the economy is doing well, there is more money in people's pockets to spend on various items. It implies that the economy's demand for everything would rise. When demand increases, the businesses and companies that manufacture these products seek to raise their prices in order to earn more profit because there are so many people willing to buy. As a result, they raise the price of the goods, resulting in inflation. As an illustration, consider the following. Consider a plane with 100 seats and 100 passengers who must board the plane. However, there are only 10 first-class seats and 90 economy seats. If the passengers are given more money, they will be happier. If they are all given enough money to afford a first-class seat, they will all want to book one. However, there are only 10 seats available. Not all of them will be able to fly first class. So, what would be the reaction? As a result, the airline raised the prices of its first-class seats. As a result, only those with more money can afford to book a first-class seat. So there is, in essence, inflation. This is referred to as demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation occurs when inflation rises with a rise in demand. 2. Increase in the prices of the raw materials. For example, suppose the price of wheat rises due to a bad monsoon season. In that case, the price of oil rises, or the government imposes a new tax. The companies that manufacture products using these raw materials will have to raise the prices of the products to make a profit because manufacturing them will become more expensive. This would eventually lead to inflation, and this type of inflation is known as cost-push inflation. 3. Increase in the salaries. The third reason is increase in salaries. No, I'm not making this up. When companies or governments raise employee salaries, they must also raise the prices of their products in order to remain profitable. This is referred to as wage push inflation. There could be other explanations as well. If a country's unemployment rate is very low, it is extremely difficult for companies to replace their employees, and if they aren't replaced, their salaries must be raised, again triggering inflation. 4. Currency depreciation. And finally, the fourth reason is currency depreciation. This can happen for a variety of reasons, one of the most important being the government's printing of more notes, which causes the currency's value to fall. And this is a risky reason. This could also lead to hyperinflation, as happened in Venezuela and Zimbabwe in 2008. In our country, if the inflation rate reaches 10%, people will complain that things are becoming extremely expensive very quickly. But in Venezuela, the inflation rate was more than 50 million% between 2016 and 2019. People began throwing their money on the streets because it had lost its value, and some began making handicrafts from the notes to sell for a price greater than the value of the notes used in making them. Using Zimbabwe as an example, around 2008, Zimbabwe's currency was losing value at such a rapid rate that the government began printing $1 million and $1 billion notes. There was even a $1 trillion bill in Zimbabwean dollars. And do you know how much that $1 trillion Zimbabwean dollar note was worth? only $1. This is the extent to which money can lose its value in a hyperinflationary situation. As we can see, excessive inflation is extremely dangerous. Now I'd like to present you with an intriguing question. Is inflation required? What if there were no inflation? On the surface, you might think that this is great because things will stop getting more expensive, and that it is good for you because you'll be able to afford it for less. You would be able to save more money, and the value of money would not depreciate over time. So this would be a fantastic addition. However, if you examine the causes of inflation in depth, you will realize that a 0% inflation rate is not a good thing. This would imply that employers would not raise your pay. Your salary would remain constant, and because salaries never fall, inflation would always be positive. There is a third reason as well. People will not want to spend money if there is deflation, which means that prices continue to fall year after year. They would want to save because, first and foremost, the value of money is increasing. If deflation continues, the item that one wishes to buy will be cheaper in 5 years. As a result, they would prefer to purchase it 5 years from now rather than now. This would result in a reduction in overall government spending. Less spending would imply that the businesses would begin to lose money. Businesses incurring losses would result in people losing their jobs, causing unemployment to rise. I've told you about a very long and complicated connection. You may be wondering if it actually happens, and the answer is yes. Unemployment and inflation have an intriguing relationship. The Phillips curve is the name given to this graph. This demonstrates the inverse relationship that exists between unemployment and inflation. If the economy grows, inflation rises, and unemployment falls. If the economy grows, inflation falls, and unemployment rises. And this is an intriguing explanation because one would not expect this to happen, but it does. Consequence of inflation. No matter how important inflation is for the overall economy, when it comes down to personal consequences and how it affects you, you could say it has a negative impact. The money you saved will lose value over time as prices for goods and services continue to rise, and dearness will always be on the rise. This is why people invest their money rather than stashing it under their beds. They use it to buy gold, for example. Because gold's price rises over time, money's value is declining due to inflation, but gold's value is increasing. Similarly, some people purchase real estate, property to avoid this, while others invest in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. If you found this video informative, do like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. We are committed to providing you with more educational videos like this one and helping you understand various concepts. Stay tuned and see you again in our next video.